Welcome aboard, folks. I'm Stephen Malkowicz, your captain on this adventure called Ship of Fools. It's a fabulous mess, and you're invited. Welcome, Ray.
Hey, happy to be back.
Thank you. Mr. Soccer is back in North America after a foray into Spain.
Yes. Deep Basque country. We're in San Sebastian, Madrid and then San Sebastian.
Cool. Very cool. You took your kids over there.
Yeah.
Had one hell of a time.
Hell of a time.
Hell of a time. And you happened to be there
during the World Cup.
During the World Cup.
Mad football country. They're football mad over there.
And they won.
And they won. And they won. They won.
I was happy they won.
They deserved to win.
They
were the best team.
They deserved to win.
They were the best team.
But,
other than the Congo, they were the best team. Right.
Where would you be from? But I remember this is going back. I'm going down memory lane here, and I remember asking you this question: what would be a success? You know, and I remember, well, could they win it? And you laughed your ass off and said round 16. This round of 16 for Canada.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Listen, this is huge. This is huge for our country. And, you know, in the fumble here is that Canada wins their round of 32 game against South Africa, right? But when they played at BC Place, I mean, the atmosphere there, talk to the players. It was incredible. Mm-hmm. It was incredible for them. That BC Place was a better stadium for Canada than BMO Field in Toronto, or whatever they called it for the World Cup. BC Place was that was home field.
Why didn't this? May be
this is the fumble. This is the fumble. If they would have finished first in their group,
would they have played Morocco here?
Yes, they would have played. They would have played South Africa here and Morocco here.
Because I one of the questions I had is, why did they play Morocco in Houston?
Because they finished second in their group.
See, and that's horseshit.
Well,
like this is that to me was horseshit.
It was in their hands.
Why didn't our prime minister phone what's his face, the guy in charge of FIFA? Yeah, Infantino, who in order to be on FIFA, you have to have a criminal fucking record.
That's a fact.
Like what a criminal organization they are.
That's a whole nother show.
That is.
They're doing documentaries. We don't have enough time.
Have you committed a financial crime?
Yes. This year.
Okay. Yeah.
This year.
Have you ever? What's your rap? What's your record? Oh, you've committed. Okay, you're in.
You're in.
What an organization!
Wow, it's
Holy
wild.
Shit.
Non-profit at that.
Non-profit.
How
does that even work?
Oof. Wow, incredible.
Hey. How does that work?
It's genius. But listen, we could, and Morocco didn't play a great game against us.
No.
So potentially a home crowd in Vancouver against Morocco could have made the difference.
So our star player, did his Bayer or whatever, the team in Germany, Bayern Munich,
yeah.
did their doctor say you can't play?
Well, something happened because he did not play. He wasn't fit to play. I just think because of who he is. And he, the name, I think it's one of those things that they included him in the squad, but clearly he wasn't fit to play. He played a few minutes, but that wasn't the Alphonso Davies we know, right? So I don't know. We find out about these things 10 years later, right? Maybe, the team over there said, don't play him, or maybe he just wasn't, fit to play. He said that he didn't want to diminish the performance in the team by going out there if he wasn't 100%. So we have to take him at his word. Right, team back.
I think his team back in Germany had something to do. Isn't there insurance or some kind of shit?
You're paying a guy that kind of money.
Yeah, he's paying a lot of money. Paid a lot of money.
That's your talent.
Yeah,
you're paying his salary. So I could understand from that perspective. But like I said, we'll never know. Nevertheless, we look for our country. That's we've played. We've never gotten out of the. We didn't just get out of the group stage. We won a knockout match, right? Away from home.
I jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, we won a knockout match away from home. The whole country got behind them, and we just needed to win that group, and we could have had Morocco at home, and imagine winning the round of 16.
That would have been great.
Oh, my God.
That would have been a great game to be here. That was the first question I asked.
Yeah.
I asked Tricia, I said, why is that game in Houston?
Listen, the story of the World Cup, there's other teams that were absolutely... they captured everybody's imagination, and Cabo Verde comes at the top of that, Cape Verde. But if Canada would have won their round of 16 game against Morocco, this would have been the story of the World Cup. This would have been history on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right?
it certainly, this World Cup certainly didn't lack drama.
No, it was amazing. On the field, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's the off the stuff field, the politics and the
horse shit.
The horse shit. This is the issue. But on the field, wow, this was with the exception of the final game where Argentina,
Jesus, and the Oscar goes to
oh my
what
God.
a bunch of
It was bad.
They reminded me of the Philadelphia Flyers in 1976, the Broad Street Bullies.
Broad Street Bullies.
You know, and then they start a fight at the end of the game, and
Terrible look on them.
Yeah, it was a terrible look on them.
Terrible.
They looked like shit. Like
Terrible.
it was just their goaltender. Like that joke was the Spanish goaltender went and introduced himself to all the Argentine players because they didn't see him.
Right?
It was.
Did he make a save? I think
No,
one.
I don't know.
No, he didn't. He didn't
you know.
actually make a save. He came off his line once to stop a half semi breakaway. But the stats of the game, Argentina didn't have a shot on net, an attempt on net, nothing. They didn't have anything for 90 minutes. I mean, this is shocking. I've never watched a World Cup, even when one team was a big underdog. I've never watched a World Cup where a team did so little.
Then you got Donald Trump making a phone call, and
those are the things
that kind of shit. I don't blame Donald Trump for that. I blame FIFA for even entertaining that.
Yeah, but you made the deal with the devil, right?
Yeah.
So
you just and the other question, Ray, and maybe you can or cannot answer this question, but how do people afford to go from like to fly to Atlanta for a game and to go here? Like, is there like this plethora of multimillionaires that do this shit? Like in New Jersey, 3/4 of the fans were wearing art. Now maybe they're New Jersey people and New York people wearing Messi jerseys. I don't know, but it seems to me that they follow their frickin' team around, and I'm going like those tickets. The ticket, the $3,000 was the starting point. And I said to Trisha, I'm going, how, we're not having bake sales for me, but at the same time, I couldn't do that.
For many, it's a once in a lifetime, right? It's a once in a lifetime experience.
What, you go into debt to do it?
Yes. I've read stories online of people going into debt, tens of thousands of dollars. One person, I read 30,000 in debt, but for that person, it was a once in a lifetime. Like, I'll pay it back, right? Like, it's only money, you live once, but I don't judge, but I not for me.
You don't judge.
Not for me. I judge a little bit. I judge a little bit.
Guy who says money talks, bullshit runs a marathon.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, I want to know if you got any of that turf that was pulled up at a BC Place in your backyard.
Nah, it's going back in. They can't maintain grass. No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. They'll put the turf back in. It's probably back in already. But
It is.
They can't. There's no way they can maintain.
I actually watched a hour and 20-minute YouTube video on where they got the grass from and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
If they put half that effort into, I don't know, the fentanyl crisis,
it would be a sober society. Right.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, these
refrigerated trucks.
Yeah. These guys are PhDs, and it's a science.
That's insane. Yeah. That's insane shit.
It's insane, and that's why I'm saying they couldn't afford to maintain that. It's not possible.
So what was FIFA's take about 8, 9, 10 billion bucks?
Wow, they say more than that. They said this World Cup generated revenue in excess of $10 billion. That's bigger than some of these countries some of the countries that played in this World Cup, their GDPs are as big as what FIFA brought in for this World Cup. That's wild.
That's crazy.
It's wild. It's
That's
wild.
crazy.
Curacao. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They've never seen money like that in their entire existence.
What I want to know though, okay, and this is just a dumb canoe head here. Why does a country that has a population of 5.6 million people, like in a shitty climate, like for soccer, do that well? And I'm talking about Norway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a legitimate question because they're not that Norway's got a lot of good hockey players that come out of there.
Not just hockey.
golf,
everything.
yeah, and so I'm sitting there, I'm watching the Travelers because I'm a golf guy, right? And the Travelers and Victor Hovland won the Travelers, and there's a bunch of Norwegian fans doing the row, on Monday because it went into extra holes because there was a tie.
Yeah.
And when he won, they went nuts. They were banging the drum and shit like that, and I was going, why is a country with 5.6 million people, why are they so successful?
Because they're doing it right. They decided a long time ago that they are in the business of developing athletes, right? So it's not about how much money they make. They develop athletes. Every kid is playing whatever sport they play in Norway for very little money. And at the point that they determine that this kid has something special, they go another pathway. That pathway is not about paying more. In North America, when people determine that, hey, you're a pretty good player and you might go far in this game, your money goes up. You have to pay a lot more now. But in Norway, you actually pay less, right? So the government takes care of that because they're in the business of developing talent. This is what it's about.
So
Number
why
one,
can't
first
we
and
do
foremost.
that?
Because the grift is the money. It's a drug. It's too strong. It's too strong.
Like,
There's way more money to be made from pay to play than, it takes a different kind of leadership. We have the talent in this country. Our population would suggest that if Norway's 5.6 and we're closer to 40 million, we have the talent, we have the population to be great at anything that Canada wants to be great in. We're great in hockey, but again,
we're actually, hockey. Yeah, we're great in hockey, but we're not we're getting beaten.
We're getting beaten now.
We're getting beaten
because hockey is now for those, only for those who can afford to play. It's not for the masses anymore, right? And so that's the problem. Norway, sport is for the masses. Sport is for the masses. Everybody participates, and you get to a certain age, I think it's about 13 or 14, where they start to make those determinations whether this kid has the talent, the ability to go farther. They get put into another pathway, but that pathway is not about pay more. That pathway is about better training, better support, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And
so
think about how that made the country feel.
Oh, it's great. Pride. We didn't know about Norway, a few years back. Now everybody, we were in, when we were in Spain just this last month, at the opening ceremonies of the tournament that we took our kids to, the whole stadium is doing the row.
Yeah.
Row. And that country's on the map.
Yeah. And I just I admit I didn't know who Erling Haaland was until
you know now.
Now I know now.
You know now.
My call, and this is, I'll go on the record. He is going to be a Marvel comic guy when his career's finished with soccer.
Gotta be.
I'm serious.
Gotta be.
He's gotta be.
Gotta be.
Gets off the plane with a stuffed raccoon. Like, what a guy. Like, what a character. And
gotta love him.
He's funny as shit. He went like, this is how mesmerized we were. He went into this is, I guess, last year, he went into a special needs home in Norway. I don't know if you saw this.
No,
okay?
I didn't.
And he was in there for like an hour and a half, and he walks in, and these guys, they ask me anything you want to ask me. Now they're speaking Norwegian, but they're throwing, these special needs people are throwing F-bombs at him and stuff. And they're asking him questions like, how much money do you make? Do you have a girlfriend? Like, they were asking personal questions, and he was eating it up, and he was so funny. He was dancing with them and shit. You don't make his actions were authentic as hell, because he would start laughing and he'd get up and he'd go, sure, man, come on, let's do this. And you go, there's a guy who's embracing the moment.
Yeah.
And he's, and little shit that they would show, how all the players, when they're finished warming up, they're all chucking their towels at the trainer. He goes and he hands his towel.
How can you not love this guy?
Exactly. You go, he's humble.
Yeah.
But he has no problem spending, $10,000 on a Hermes bag, whatever. Good for him.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit?
He's earned it.
He's earned that.
Yeah.
But he's a freak.
You love him, you got to see his sister.
Yeah.
Twice as funny.
Is that right?
Yeah, twice as funny.
But he was hilarious. Like, and the thing is, America fell in love with him.
They should.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He was. And that's what you need. You need characters like that. And nothing was better than watching England sweat their ass off, thinking they were going to. I loved, they got lucky with Mexico there. They did.
Yeah.
And they were, and I get such a kick out of listening to I listen to BBC, ESPN, and those announcers are just pathetic. Like, they are so hardcore. They're like, that was shit, and their comments on the final about Argentina, the one guy, why in Canada here, you got to have, in order to commentate on sport, on soccer, on football, you have to have a Scottish brogue, an English accent.
Yeah.
They had the token black guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they had an English guy. Okay. But the true essence of like Wayne Rooney, he comes out and says, like, no problem, that halftime show, it was horseshit. I hated it. Yeah, I hated it. Yeah. I like all the artists, but that sucked.
No, it's not for a football game.
Nah, it's not.
Man.
It's not.
This is not the Super Bowl.
It's not.
Right.
It's not. But it was.
And you're broadcasting it out. It's one thing. The Super Bowl is for Americans.
Yeah.
But you're broadcasting it out to millions of people.
That was stupid.
And I mean, again, love the artist.
Yeah.
Just the wrong venue.
The
wrong venue. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't work.
How many times I got to see Shakira shake her? You know what I mean?
Well, we're watching it, and Trisha's going, "Is that Madonna?"
Yes.
Where's that being filmed? In a parkade?
It was under the stadium,
stupid.
But she came out there with Ronaldinho and Ronaldo. They had no idea what was going on.
Nor did they care.
Ronaldo was supposed to be driving the car. I'm pretty sure that was remote controlled. He was definitely not driving. And they came out. They were just told, smile and just put your hands up, and you'll get paid $1 million. Yeah, that's it.
I just, and that the VAT stuff, like the video review stuff, VAR stuff, that killed me too. Like that was,
it's very selective.
Very selective, but that is the only sport where you see a player and it looks like somebody took him down with a 308.
Yeah,
and he popped him and he just dropped, and then they show it in instant. Nobody touched him. It's like, I swear to God, the Oscar goes and like Argentina. I don't know what they like. I saw the game prior.
Yeah,
they played well.
Yes,
and what happened?
I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows, because they're accomplished players. They have big players on that team. They've got guys on that team playing at Chelsea, at Manchester United. They can play. They're accomplished players. I don't understand those tactics and why they resorted to
thuggery. Like, it was absolute thuggery. Like it was just like, what do you, and granted, hey man, Spain, like they're a good team. They were the best team.
But you got to play.
You got to play. Exactly.
You got to play.
And I look at it and go, I have to admit, I did a little, my little Irish fiddler dance when England lost. I was like,
don't know those. I don't understand those tactics either. They had it in the bag.
What happened?
They had it in the bag, and
they fall asleep.
No, I mean, those are tactics. They decided that, we scored a goal and we're going to defend what we have, and it didn't work.
Well, it didn't
work out.
The other thing that drove my doctor crazy too is what's their England striker, Harry Kane. I was calling him Harry Potter, and he was just like he was, and then I just saw him the other day, and he goes, "Don't talk to me." He's like, "Don't talk to me about this," because he's a big soccer. He still plays soccer. Oh, he's still hot.
He's still hot,
and it was hilarious. Like I go, England. Come on. He goes, "What do you know about soccer?" I said, "Well, I'm just saying.
England doing England things. They could have been in the finals.
Yeah,
they could have been in the finals.
Yeah, but they folded.
They folded. And like in that game, Argentina went down 1-0, and Argentina said, we want to win the game. They put on players to win the game. England decided that we don't want to lose the game.
Just fell back, and they just fell back.
Two different mentalities, and it is what it is. But then we see Argentina go to the final and do the same thing against Spain from the kickoff, from the beginning.
I was watching that game. I said they should just allow fist fights. It
wasn't good.
Well, at the end of the game, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a terrible look. And for neutrals who don't really,
What are you doing?
you know, who don't
What do you
who don't watch the game, you watch that. There's a reason why they wanted to take fighting out of hockey, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna
What's
bring
that?
it
What is that? What you know, like, and like it just, I don't know. Even Messi's actions after were like a pouting baby.
Yeah.
You know, like, listen, man, you got enough money. Okay, but you should be, if anything, you wear that captain's armband there. Yeah. You should have got your guys going. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, and I gotta like.
We won't know. We won't know. I've heard stories, you know, reports about.
Well, I loved that when they interviewed the English coach after that Norwegian game.
Yeah.
Oh, he shit all over his team.
Yeah.
Hey? And justifiably so.
Yeah.
He said, we played like shit. We don't deserve. And then what's the star player for England? They interviewed him after.
Bellingham, Jude.
Yeah, he's a good player. Good player. And and so in typical British fashion, they confront him and he knows nothing about it. And he said, what? What did he say? What? Like, he was just like, we worked our asses off. Well, that's not what your coach said. He can say whatever he wants, you know. And then I went dissension right there.
Hey, the tabloids, man.
Yeah,
they love those. They love this.
I love the British.
But
for
the
that
coach
shit.
Tuchel, he's German. Germans are direct.
Yeah,
you might not like, you know, these German coaches. They tell it as it is.
Yeah,
right. So,
and he was right though.
But it was great. It was great. It was great for the people. It was great for the neutrals. You know, good tabloid. Right.
Yeah,
that was in the story. That was in the news for 2 or 3 days. Good
stuff. So what does this mean for Canadian soccer now?
For Canadian soccer,
are the Whitecaps leaving?
Well, they need to be very careful. I think they've made an offer now, the Whitecaps, to run the BC Place, right? To run BC Place and to take it over and then to give a portion of the money to the province or whatever. But I don't know. It looks like it's all going downhill. And there's the money that's waiting for the Whitecaps in Vegas. It's hard to turn away from. New stadium, big money.
So we lose another.
If we lose this team, I don't, you know, that's going to be terrible for this community. I mean, people have really, you know, this is Vancouver's team, right? This is Vancouver's team. So, but it doesn't look good. I'll tell you that. It doesn't look good.
Why do we suck here? Like with like our professional teams? Why is it such a? I used to say it's because everybody's from somewhere else, but a lot of places everybody's from somewhere else.
Yeah,
and we just it's like. Our hockey teams suck shit. Like, you know, they do. Like, they suck shit.
It's a great business model, though.
Yeah, suck shit, take TV revenue.
It's a great business model.
You know, the Whitecaps, they were doing well.
Yeah, and they're not just doing well; they were doing amazing.
Yeah,
this last year has been amazing. This team has gone to another level. To lose them now would be wow for this community. It would be terrible, absolutely terrible. So I don't know. I mean, you know, the long-term thinking, right? I think this should have been addressed 10 years ago, right? And there was always a potential. I mean, we lost the Grizzlies. You know, history tells us that it's possible, absolutely, right?
Yeah, and now you know, Ken Sims signed a letter saying that we want a Major League Baseball team.
Why don't you try keeping the team you have first?
Good luck with that.
Let's start with keeping the team we have.
Yeah, like I don't know. This is just it. This is an odd province. It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful place to live, but it's kind of wackadoodle. Like there's a lot of wackadoodle shit that goes on.
Yeah, it'll be a shame if we lose the team, but unfortunately, it doesn't look great to keep the team.
So you know, so we can both generally agree that Canada, it was successful for them. They round 16.
Yeah, on the field of successful in terms of, if you wanted to, on the field, listen, all our hats off go to these guys. These guys did incredible. They didn't have their best player. Kone broke his leg in the Qatar game. He was one of their, main players in that group. For what they accomplished, I mean, these guys, whatever they give the Governor General, what is it, the Honor of Canada? The Order of Canada. They deserve, these players have done the country a solid. However, when we're talking about legacy, I don't see any evidence of any legacy that's been left behind. This province alone spent $1 billion, and I don't even, where's the soccer field?
I had...
Show me a field they've built.
I had Carson Binda on from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation.
Yeah.
And he does FOIs, Freedom of Information requests. And he said, and it's not anecdotal, that hotel room bookings were down. Actually,
Yeah.
they weren't up.
Yeah.
And any business that was right down on the strip was okay, but anybody outside of that area sucked shit. Like they were complaining, saying there's nothing, there was and I don't know what, sure, the scenery was nice. TSN had their booth there and looking out on the water and stuff, but there was really I found it odd that the games, there were 7 games played here, but there was no real expose on Vancouver and British Columbia and what it mean, like, you know what I mean, to expose it to the world. And I thought that was a missed opportunity. And maybe it's because FIFA said, like, you're not allowed to do that unless we get a piece.
Well, that's the general way it works,
like
right?
they get a piece of everything.
A piece of everything.
What a criminal organization they are. The fact that they get away with what they do.
2 sides to the coin. We prefer to enjoy the football.
Yeah.
And the politics is not for us. The football is what.
So did Vancouver feel like a World Cup city?
Yeah, during the World Cup, it really felt like Egypt. When Egypt won their game here and their team went out and were partying with the people, that was incredible. Mo Salah, who's a superstar in the game, was out there dancing. I mean, it felt like a World Cup city during that time. The downtown core was amazing. But again, it's. We are here. We are the Vancouver people. We're the British Columbia people.
Yeah.
And when you have an event of that magnitude here, you want to see a legacy left behind. We want to see the same legacy left behind like the Olympics.
Yeah.
Today, we're still looking at venues that were built for the 2010 Olympics that are still
they're being used.
They're being used, and there's no evidence of that happening for the soccer. The field that was built in Killarney, the Whitecaps training center was already there, so that was being used for training.
Yeah.
The field that's built in Killarney, like all things, it'll be it'll be mud in a year or two because the grass will be pulled out of there. Nobody can maintain it, right? And so unless they build turf there, it'll. For me, it's a missed opportunity. And what's $1 billion spent? Yeah. Why don't we have 10 new fields in Vancouver? Right, 10 new fields in Vancouver, micro fields all over the city. Yeah. The legacy that they're talking about is they're going to build 10 miniature fields across the province that may or may not be used for soccer. Some of them may be field hockey. 10 across the entire province. We should have 10 in Vancouver alone. So for me, that's the missed opportunity. If you can spend $1 billion on hosting a World Cup, 7 matches, how is it you cannot build 10, 15, 20 fields in this city to benefit the community? Because ultimately, we're the ones who are paying for this World Cup, right?
They had no problem building VIP facilities, new VIP facilities at BC Place.
So,
and
and for 7 games, build legacy. And if they would have built legacy here as a football mad person, even if it cost $1 million, but if I see 20 fields, 15 fields out there, you know what? I'm going to say kudos, great job, but I can't say that when there's nothing here to show.
How do they pick the cities that were hosting the games?
The cities have to. First of all, the cities want to have to host. So the cities will go to FIFA when FIFA comes and says we're doing the World Cup here. The cities go and make presentations. Not every city wanted to. For example, Montreal didn't. I don't think Edmonton did because you look at the math. You look at the math, and you spend $1 billion. A province spent $1 billion. The city of Vancouver probably spent a half a billion. The province probably kicked in $500 million.
Never mind security.
Well, all that shit.
Okay,
right? Where's the ROI?
Yeah.
Nobody can really define it. Like how they're saying, well, the hotel business is going to go up, the restaurants are going to go, but like nobody can actually define the ROIs. We spent $1 billion. Did we make $5 billion back? Because that would be smart math.
Yeah.
Spend $1 billion, make $5 billion back. But there's no evidence to show that we spent $1 billion and we actually made any money. So if you didn't make any money, at least leave a legacy, right? Leave a legacy, and then that's
huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, a huge missed opportunity.
Huge missed.
Right, so a lot of cities don't want to host these games because it doesn't make sense for them to.
And we did talk about, we'll bring it up again, accessibility versus exclusivity. The ticket prices were ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just like I looked at that final game in New Jersey. And I don't know what that stadium holds, 70,000 people. And you do the math, it's mind-boggling in your head.
Yeah.
How much money, like Wow.
It's that, unfortunately, increasingly these World Cups are for VIPs now. They're no more for the people.
Yeah, like I didn't realize this. They fly a contingent of the FIFA guys all the way around everywhere.
Yeah.
Like on their own jets and shit like that.
I think Qatar donated a big plane for the president for sure, for Infantino for sure.
Isn't there some guy from Vancouver that's going to be on the FIFA board?
He is. He's Vic Montagliani. He's actually the president of CONCACAF, so the
you know?
federation. Yeah.
Or does he hate you?
No, not at all. Good guy. Very good guy. Yeah, good guy.
Oh, you're saying that now because you want to go.
Not at all. Yeah. I'm not in that world.
How did he get in that?
No, he's done a good job. He's done a good job here. He started off just
what
here
was his
locally.
name again?
Vic you say this name Montagliani, right? But he's a good guy. He started
from
out
East Van.
He's an East Van boy. Started out here locally. I think he was selling insurance here locally in the city. But he was the president of BC
Does
Soccer.
he have a criminal record?
No, not at all. He's one of the good guys.
Okay.
He's one of the good guys. He was a president of BC Soccer, and then he became the president of Canada Soccer, and then from there he went into CONCACAF. There are good guys in this world, but unfortunately, sometimes the institution is bigger than the man, right? And there's just some things that the wheels move and you can't stop them.
Well, I started to read. How do you pronounce the head of FIFA's name?
Infantino.
Yeah. He's got a rap sheet like you wouldn't believe. He's been investigated. Like
he's being investigated now.
Yeah. Like it's like.
But it's par for course. In that world, it's par for course. He's being investigated now for all kinds of stuff, and it's just.
I guess if you didn't do it, they'd go, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, but again, it's we come to that point where you either when we're talking about football, you either talk about the game on the field, or you talk about the politics off the field, and the football at the World Cup was amazing, and the politics were morally bankrupt.
Yeah,
right. It was what we saw off the field, and with the president calling Infantino and saying, I don't think that was a red card. And then FIFA, the next day saying, we were doing our own private investigation and we were already on this. And now we've decided that that's not a red card. They go to play Belgium with the player now whose red card has been rescinded. And then they get smashed by 4 goals and they're out of the World Cup. But that is a permanent stain now for FIFA, because what was absolutely a red card and the player shouldn't play, one call from the president of the United States and the kid's back in the lineup, and that's terrible.
Please
terrible.
Educate me. Okay. A yellow card is for doing like a flagrant
minor offense.
A minor offense. And it's subjective.
Well, I mean, there's
like stomping on someone's heel.
Well, that it depends, right? There's rules, and these things constitute a yellow card, and then if you pick up 2 yellow cards in the game, then you're out of the game. That would be a red. So 2 yellow cards, an accumulation of 2 yellow cards in a single match means a red card. But there are offenses. Let's say, for example, we'll take an extreme. I punch a player in the face. That's an immediate red, an immediate expulsion from the game.
Okay, and you can't play the next game.
Depends on the severity. A red card automatically, you can't play the next game, but you may be suspended for more than just the next game based on the severity of your actions.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
other questions I have here, because you are our senior correspondent on the game of football
from the home office.
What constitutes a foul on a corner kick?
Well, it's the same thing. It's just
is a punch to the throat.
No. It's all of it is the same. There's no we don't differentiate between.
Like, does it make a difference if the ball's in the air and I throat the guy?
Corner kick in the middle of the game, goal kick, a foul's a foul. Right.
Like it reminds me of basketball. I don't know what
I know what you're getting
because I just like you sit there and you go, oh, like it was just.
I know what you're getting at.
Shit show at the goal line. Like,
in those corner kicks, it's an absolute shit show.
It is.
But referees, you turn a blind eye, because if you were to call everything that happens inside the box on a corner kick,
and then what is this shit about like covering your mouth up and saying like,
yes,
like what?
Okay, so that stems from. Say no to racism is the big mantra for FIFA, right? Okay. It's been for many, many years, because in Europe, especially, mostly in Europe, lot of the black kids from Africa playing in these leagues in Europe, Italy, and Spain, they get racially abused on the field. This is, this has been known for years. So a lot of the guys who would do the racial abuse would cover their mouth and say some heinous things, right? So the law was passed that if you cover your mouth and you...
But is it just if you cover your mouth regardless of what you say? The assumption made that you're making a racist
exactly,
comment?
because if you're not saying anything racist or anything heinous, you would just speak to the person. Once you cover your mouth, now they're talking about intent. Your intent is to say some dumb shit. So if you cover your mouth, it's supposed to be an automatic red. So I know what you're getting at. The player from Spain did cover his mouth. By the rules of the rules of the game, he should have been ejected from the game. But it's all subjective now. I mean, it's all we're as soccer people, we don't know what a call is anymore.
What's the criteria? Like, how do you the refereeing? Is it like other sports where you work your way up from the minor leagues to get to that level?
From your own country. So there could be a referee in Vancouver who's done an incredible job reffing, let's say, as a youth referee. And then now they start reffing in the Vancouver Metro Soccer League. And then they're seen to be very good, and they start getting games in the MLS next 2 matches. And then they get promoted to the MLS. And now you're on the national stage. And from the MLS, they're watching your performances. And when FIFA goes to assign referees for the World Cup, they like to take referees from all parts of the world to try to keep it as neutral as possible. So yeah, absolutely, you work your way, just like in any sport, you work your way up for sure.
And so part of that process is being a flag guy.
Everybody,
or do you work your way, or are you just designated a flag guy?
No, there's some very good referees that end up working as, they call them, assistant referees. So the linesmen.
Yeah, the linesmen.
They're very good referees themselves, because at any point, they could be called in to do a match. So, at that level, even as a lines person, you've got to be at the top of your game, because you're making, and it's incredible that some of these assistant referees, when they put up their flag for offsides, and then we watch it on the video,
they're right on.
They're right on. So you've got to be at the top of your game. So these referees are absolutely at the, and look, the players are running 10 clicks on average in these FIFA matches. You know what these referees are running? You know how fit they have to be? Yeah. There's no other sport on planet Earth that has referees that are that fit. So I'm not a big fan of referees, never have been, but I got to give credit to these guys. And the top referee in this World Cup would have been a guy from Somalia. It was a Somalian kid who was refused entry into the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, so the soccer part of the tournament was amazing. What happened in Vancouver, Toronto, all over North America was amazing. It was the off the field stuff that it's just a stain for the game. The top referee on the planet right now is a guy from Somalia, right? Somalian. So this is the ideals of football, where anybody can get to the top.
Why was he refused entry?
He got to the States. He passed all the FIFA certifications, accreditations. They deemed him to be the top ref in the world. He arrives in the States, then they deny him entry. Some idiot at the immigration says, I think you're related to that guy. Who's that guy in that movie? I am your captain now. He says, I think you're his cousin. So we're not letting, and this guy's the top ref in the world. So he goes back home to massive fanfare. It totally galvanizes the country. They're like, this is a huge injustice. Big parade in his honor. And UEFA, which is the governing body of European soccer, has now assigned him to ref their big game. It's coming up soon, but there's time. So it was a big stain on the tournament. The top referee, because he comes from Somalia, was denied entry into the country. From the Congo, from the DRC, we have a individual who would come to the games. Every game, he follows the national team around and he stands on a box. And for the entire 90 minutes, he puts his hand up in the air to symbolize, it's in honor of Patrice Lumumba, the first prime minister of the Congo. And if you know the history, you know. But he does it for 90 minutes. How he does it, nobody understands. For 90, and this is a big thing for the Congolese fans. They all galvanize around him, and he stands there for 90 minutes with his hand up in the air. It's unbelievable. And everybody knows this guy. And he was denied entry for the first few games. So a lot of these things, the Uzbekistan national team, for example, when they arrived in the U.S., their luggage was put on the tarmac, and they brought bomb-sniffing dogs to sniff. I mean, this is disgraceful. The Iranian team, forget the politics. The Iranian team played their matches in the U.S. They weren't allowed to stay in the U.S., so they'd come in as soon as their match was over. They had to exit. Their time at the border was averaging 4 to 5 hours, and at that level, for these level of athletes, holding up in a bus for 4 or 5 hours, I mean, this is not okay. So the off the field stuff, terrible. The on the field stuff, let's talk about the feel good story of the World Cup was Cabo Verde. This is a country of 600,000 people. 600,000 people. They play Spain in their first game in Atlanta. They tie Spain. Spain won the tournament, and they didn't tie Spain by hanging back. They went at Spain mano a mano, gave them all they could handle, and the Spanish media went insane, saying this is a crap team. You can't be. 600,000 people is all this country has. The whole country, Cabo Verde, is basically 10 islands. 9 of them are inhabitable. You can't even live there. And they went against the world champions now. And Spain was a European champion. Like mano a mano. Cabo Verde then they played against Uruguay, and Uruguay has guys playing for Real Madrid. I mean, a top team. Tied them 2-2. They beat the Saudis. They ended up playing Argentina in the round of 32 and took Argentina into deep waters. They had no fear. These guys, 600,000 is their country. They had no fear. They almost beat Argentina. It was
real
close. Back and forth. So that was the feel-good story of the World Cup. And they didn't lose a game in 90 minutes. They only lost Argentina in extra time. It was this close to going to PKs. They go to PKs, anything happens.
Yeah.
Their goalkeeper, his name was Rosina. Before the World Cup, he's a 40-year-old man, was basically at the end of his career. Before the World Cup, on his Instagram, he had 50,000 followers. Today, he has 30 million.
Wow.
Right? 30. It all happened in a span of a month.
Wow.
Right? And so, I used to live in the U.S. I used to live in the New England area. And there's more Cabo Verdeans that probably live in the New England area than there are who live in Cabo Verde. It's wild. So the mayor of Brockton, Massachusetts, and that town is full of Cabo Verdeans. He's from Cabo Verde, the mayor. So when Argentina played Cabo Verde that night, they put a curfew on, 10 o'clock, win, lose, or draw, nobody on the street, because they knew it was going to be crazy, right? So that's a feel-good story. Curacao coming to the World Cup is amazing. It's a small, little, tiny island. And for them to do what they did, Haiti, right? Like, they played against Scotland in Massachusetts at Foxborough. This was an amazing game, right? So there were so many stories in this World Cup, right? There were so many stories. Canada's story was amazing, right? This was an incredible World Cup. The hosting of the World Cup, I mean, it was incredible. You never deny that the U.S., Mexico, Canada put on an amazing World Cup. This World Cup was up there. I mean, I've watched World Cup since the 80s. This was up there with any other World Cup, maybe better than the one that was hosted in the U.S. in 94, for sure, right? So the World Cup was an amazing event. The politics of the World Cup, so that's the problem.
What happened to that South African player that got killed? What was the story with him?
Nobody really knows. He definitely they're saying it was suicide, unfortunately.
Suicide?
Yeah, they're saying it was suicide, right? Wow. So it's really unfortunate.
It's like only 24, 25 years old.
Young kid, weeks after the World Cup, the biggest tournament of your life, and then,
That's sad.
But they said he lost, I think he had lost his mom recently. He had lost his mom recently, so I think he was,
Wow.
I mean, it's
wow. Well, the other.
Right.
I just look at it right now. Donald Trump.
Now, here's the takeaway from this. So we talk about the politics of the World Cup, right? So he's been at it, because Spain has been very vocal about the things in the Middle East. They don't support him.
They wouldn't use bases.
They think Trump is a clown. And Trump, you say anything about him and he's firing back before you finish the sentence. So he's been firing back on True Social. Spain is a useless country, blah, 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 blah. And so they're going back and forth, and there's a lot of tension there. And so now he has to go up there and present the World Cup trophy to Spain.
Yeah.
He can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, and then he won't leave the stage.
And you would think he would present the trophy and
get
I'm
off
out
the
of here.
stage. And he just he's just like, and he just stood there, and their captain's trying to get off the stage.
And Infantino had to come.
Yeah.
And be like, You gotta go. You gotta go. And so what's interesting is in Spanish media, they've cropped them out of all the
because that was a discussion. Did they Photoshop
they've
them out?
cropped them out of everything. And they're like, you don't like us as a country, but you won't leave the stage and let us.
Clown. Like that was such a clown
This
show.
is, I think it's called karma.
Yeah.
I think it's called karma.
It was
right?
just like, you can't make that shit up.
They've interviewed him recently, and they're like, what about the tensions between you and Sweden? What tensions? No, there's no tension.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't give himself a medal.
Well, he did.
Well, he did get the peace
prize
medal,
or something like that,
but
right?
He just like who does that?
So in the politics, you have to see the comedy, right? The silver lining in the comedy within the, but it's the politics of the World Cup that made the World Cup ugly. But aside from that, and there was this stuff with the Argentinian guys. I think after the England game, they were holding up the Falkland banner, right? And what kills me is that that was a big deal. The English media, this is disgusting, and they were pissed. But what kills me is that these Argentinian kids that are holding up this Falkland banner, none of them were born during the Falkland Wars. They don't even know what they're holding up.
What is that?
I think what happened is somebody from the stands gave it to a player. They figured, this is a cool thing to troll the English with. They weren't alive when it happened. I think the Falkland Island is probably populated by a bunch of Englishmen, right? I don't even think any Argentinians actually live there. So it's the politics that always, and thank God, in the end, the best team won, the team that played the best football won, right? And so we can celebrate the football. And that the great football overshadowed the politics. But unfortunately, we're heading in a direction where the politics seems like it's going to overshadow the football in the future.
So that's the next question. Spectacle versus sport. Is the World Cup becoming more entertainment than football?
Well, if you're going to host a World Cup in the United States, you can't complain that it's more entertainment than football, because the United States is number one at selling entertainment, right? Yeah. They brought Madonna back from the dead. I didn't even know she was still alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was the thing. I didn't know that.
I didn't know she was alive.
I didn't know she was still alive.
Right. So if you come to the U.S., you have to accept the entertainment.
Happen.
All in all, what do I give it a pass? Absolutely. This was the halftime show was unnecessary for a football match.
Yeah.
There's really a disadvantage. These guys play 45 minutes. The game is really meant to be played 90 minutes continuous. So, amateur games, 45, you take a break for 5 minutes, you're back on the field. At that level, at the professional level, it's 10 minutes, you're back on the field. Stopping the game for a half hour, you're literally starting a new game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for those things, no, what they should have done, have your show before the game.
Yeah.
Have it for 3 hours. Give the fans a treat. Have a 3-hour show before the game. Sell the advertisement. You know what I mean? People are still, but in the middle of that game, nah. So, but it's the U.S. and you got to take the good with the bad.
Like there's okay, and now we're going to talk about like stuff on the field, the pitch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where's the line between grit and thuggery in this game?
Between grit and look, on the ball, grit, off the ball thuggery. Right? On the ball grit, off the ball thuggery. That's a very simple way to view it, right? It's a lens that everybody can accept. Your game is over. Let's take, for example, the final. The game is over and you're smacking guys or choking guys out or kicking guys. I mean, that's got nothing to do with the game. That's thuggery. Right? Call it what it is. It's thuggery. That's not football. Yeah. That's thuggery.
It was blatant though. Like it was blatant. Just like a fight.
Yeah.
And the Spanish, you could tell by the look on some of the Spanish players.
And they're kids. The Spanish guys were young. They're kids, right? So the majority.
How old is what's his name?
Yamin Lamar.
Yeah.
He's 19
years old.
Yeah, and forget him. I'm pretty sure he was nicked up. He wasn't 100% because that guy at 100%, he's a demon. Yeah. He's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare at 100%. But he was dinged up because he didn't even play. He didn't start the first game because he wasn't 100%. But look at the kid who's playing in the back, another Barcelona player, Kubarsi, 19 years old.
Yeah.
He put Messi in a box. He put everybody in a box, not just Messi. He put everybody in a box, right? Yeah. So that team is the scary thing about the team. They won the World Cup.
Yeah,
they're coming back.
Yeah, they're young.
And they're young.
They're young.
You know what I mean? That's the scary thing.
They're really young.
Very young guys. So they weren't ready for that kind of stuff, right? They just wanted to play football. They weren't ready for that.
And I just got to go back to Norway and Erling Haaland.
Amazing.
The guy's a horse.
Amazing.
Generational talent.
6'4".
6'4".
He's one of the. I don't know if you know. He's actually recorded speed on land. When they watch these guys run, we talk about the French player Mbappe. They call him the dictator. The dictator, right?
Yeah.
And you watch that guy run, and he's so amazingly fast. But recorded time, Holland is actually faster than Mbappe. Think about a man who's 6'4".
Yeah.
Right. That strong.
Yeah.
And his off season, he was actually in the off season. He was last year in the off season, or was it 2 years ago? Holland was actually training with NFL players, linebackers, on how to.
Well, back to the my ESPN UK watching. There was 3 after that defeat, England beating Norway. There was one English fellow who had played with Holland on I can't remember what team, and they were shitting on him, saying that he was lazy and blah blah. And this English player he played on the World Cup team twice. He said, "You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah. I went against him in practice.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
And like you said, he's a lion.
Yeah.
He hunts when it's time to
exactly. He has this innate ability to just lie in the weeds, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's there.
Yeah.
And I just, like, the guy gave me goosebumps watching, because he was just such a like who's 6'4" that can kick a ball backwards, flipping backwards, knows where to be.
He's we could only if we're talking about American sports, we can only compare him to a guy like LeBron James.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
6'9", just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
And like you say, he's not active throughout the whole game, but when he's like, the guy scored, I don't know, 7 goals in this World Cup. I mean, it's about being effective.
Yeah.
When it's time to kill.
Exactly. And he's a lion on the Serengeti, lying there, waiting.
Yeah, they say he's not active, but he's a problem.
He's a problem.
He's a big problem.
You got to watch him all the time.
He's a big problem.
And he just knows. It's like, there's that adage about Wayne Gretzky. I go to where the puck's going.
Yeah.
He goes to where the ball's going.
Yes.
And he just knows where it's going. Instinct. And you just can't teach that.
And we're talking about the PK, but Norway also had a chance towards the end of the game where they had a player who could have laid it off for Haaland easily.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
exactly.
That game was in the balance. I mean, that team, wow, what they've done with that small of a population.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
England. Another disappointment. What's wrong with them?
Doing England things, right? Now you can look at
it. Is that like a microcosm of the United States? Like, they just, no matter what, like they pride themselves on, that's where the game came from, football, and they're all about
it's coming home.
Premier League,
it's coming home,
and shit like that. And I watched them play, and I went, they're not playing that good.
They had. From my perspective, they had the talent, but their tactics were wrong. They had the talent. They had the players.
So you think that it boils down to coaching?
For me, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. As players, first of all, they have to have that desire. Like Argentina, up until the final game, if you want to talk about a team that had hunger and desire, that was Argentina. They scrapped out wins. They won games they shouldn't have won. They were in deep waters, and just, like Hulk Hogan in WWE, you count 1, you count 2, you put the hand up, into the third one, the hand stays. That was Argentina. Yeah. So Argentina had that grit about them, except for the last game where they made asses of themselves. Yeah. Leading up to that last game, that's like what you want all your players to be like, with that grit. England had the players, but something was missing here, and also their tactics were terrible, because in that game against Argentina, they brought in a bunch of defenders and lost the game, as they should have, right?
Yeah.
But the next game they play France, they bring on all these attackers to start the game. Saka, who didn't play in the previous game, scores a hat-trick. How do you get a guy scoring a hat-trick in the 3rd and 4th place game, the consolation match, but he doesn't play a minute in the game that you needed to win?
What happened there?
So that you have to put on the coach. Maybe he was injured, but even if he was injured, let's say this kid Bukayo Saka, he plays for Arsenal, plays in the consolation game, scores a hat trick, doesn't play in the game before against Argentina. How injured could you have been if you can play 2 or 3 days later? How injured could you have been? So they had the players. Marcus Rashford, they brought him in the Argentina game with just a few minutes to go. They had the horses, but he opted to bring in a bunch of defenders to defend the lead. And now once they got behind, now you have defenders, you can't go on the front
So
foot.
if you're talking how in soccer,
Yeah.
how important, like on a scale of 1 to 10, is coaching? Especially when you have that caliber, like at the World Cup level, you have everyone's pretty much a star on that team,
Yeah.
on those teams. Like they're
It's not the coaching at that level. It's the man management. It's being able to manage egos. If the players don't buy into what you're selling, it doesn't matter how great a coach you are. It's understanding how to manage men. Because in that room, imagine the England room, you have guys playing for Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester United. You know, the level of egos. A coach has to be strong enough to come into that room and says, we're all on the same page. And if they're on the same page, Argentina has the biggest star in the world, Messi, and Portugal had the biggest star in the world, Ronaldo. You need coaches who know how to manage that dynamics to be able to get guys on the same page, right? And it worked for Argentina. They had a superstar in Messi, but the team told, we play as a team. Portugal had Ronaldo. They did not play as a team, right?
I'm going to make a statement here that's not going to be popular. Messi looks like a ferret.
Listen.
He does. You know what? He's over. I know that's a personal slight, but the way he conducted himself in that final game pissed me off because I thought he was a classy guy.
I think that's a fair assessment.
And if you're going to end your career, what is he, 40 years old?
39.
39.
Yeah.
Show some class. Show some class. Be classy about it. And that pissed me off. Like it really aggravated me.
I can see where you're coming from.
I'm just a dumb canoe head here.
No,
in Canada.
I
don't know
it's
shit.
Listen, he had an opportunity. He had an opportunity. So Messi spent most of his life playing in Spain, in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Most of those kids on that Spain team were Barcelona players. Most of the people supporting that team were probably big Barcelona fans. So that stadium had half of the stadium were Argentinians and half of the stadium were Spaniards, right? Messi, the best years of his life were spent in Spain. If I'm him at the end of the game, if I'm his PR guy, I have him go and shake hands and hug every single Spanish player. And I have him do a lap because that crowd is as much his crowd.
And he did. It was just
do the lap and
some class.
Thank the fans.
That's
because
Be a classy
those
guy.
fans up there are also his fans. There's not a fan in that stadium that doesn't love Messi because that was Argentina versus Spain. And in Spain, I mean, Messi, most of his life, he's lived in Spain. He's been there since he was
7. I think 7 or 8
so
years old.
they love that guy. So if that's your last game on the international stage, nobody would blame him for taking a lap of honor and saying thank you to the fans and walking off with your head held high.
Is he the only guy that doesn't have his name on his jersey?
No. It's there.
Are you sure?
It's there. It's got to be.
I don't think so.
No, of course.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to check because you're gonna. I want you to come back on, and I want you. This is going to be a longer one because I want an explanation as to how you get to the World Cup because I don't understand. I tried. I went on the Wikipedia.
You
page.
may not have to understand because.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'm a purist, and the World Cup when the World Cup first started.
Like in the 1930s, like that was El Duce started FIFA.
No.
Didn't he?
FIFA was started in 1904 because
but El Duce was the one that popularized soccer.
No.
Then my Wikipedia sources.
34. He was awarded the World Cup in 34.
And he used that for political purposes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Just
so
like Argentina did.
The cup was named after a Frenchman. So FIFA was formed. There was association football. Right, so the associations were playing against each other, and so these countries came together and said, "We need a governing body to be able to govern us." Right, so there's a fair set of playing rules. So in 1904, FIFA was actually formed in Paris, France. That's where it was formed, and then it was run by a fella by the name of, the guy who really took it to the next level was a man by the name of Jules Rimet. And so the trophy, the original FIFA trophy, was actually named after him, the Jules Rimet Cup. England didn't even start in the World Cup until the 50s.
Okay.
Although they say they invented the game, they didn't enter the World Cup until the 50s. So,
So I don't.
Yeah,
The
so-
thing is, I don't. I was trying to figure out the process.
Yeah,
like how
so-
you go. Like there's different geographical
confederations.
Yeah.
So UEFA is Europe, and most of the
We're
countries
called
CONCACAF, Confederation of Central American and Caribbean countries, North America. So CONCACAF. Then there's South America, CONMEBOL, which is the South American.
Well,
countries.
that's a discussion.
So, for another day.
For another
But
day.
what I'm saying is, you may not have to wait, because the way this World Cup is going, we may have 100 teams at the next World Cup. There may be no qualifications because, people.
Yeah.
Well, this World Cup had what 48.
48 teams.
So next time they're talking about 64.
Holy shit.
Right. So we
That's
may
a
not
lot.
have to worry about qualifications. Half of the damn planet may be coming to the World Cup.
Best match of the tournament.
Ooh, best match of the tournament. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. For me, wow. I'm thinking Cabo Verde, Argentina for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was drama. That was drama. Till the end. All right. That was drama. There was amazing matches. There was lots of great matches, but I think that for me,
For me, personal reasons, Norway, England.
Norway, England.
Well,
I
I was just like we've been to the UK and shit like that. We know how hard they take it so seriously. But I wanted them to lose. I did. I admit it. I
don't think you're the only one.
I did.
Yeah.
That to me, but it was exciting.
Amazing game.
It was exciting, and you know what? The Norwegian players showed class.
Yes.
At the end,
Yes.
and they were like, you know what? They didn't go around going, "We play better than you." No. It was all, and they went back. They went back to Norway. I watched that ceremony at the palace. I didn't even know they had a king still.
Yeah.
But they do.
Baked into the culture.
Yeah,
Great.
and
what a great society.
and that's cool. And
What a great society.
And here we are with our 40 million people, and we can't, and you're saying it's resource. So if anybody's listening, they should understand that we need to put more resource into.
Yeah, and again, missed opportunities. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't we have a parade for our national team in Vancouver and Toronto?
Yeah,
Like,
you're
missed
right.
opportunity.
You're
Like,
right.
These
Yeah.
guys have done a generational solid for the country. Do you know how many people would come out in Vancouver if they did a parade down Robson Street or any of or Pacific for the national team after the World Cup?
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
So I'm gonna end off here with some questions here, the quick fire questions. Did this World Cup grow the game meaningfully? Did it grow it meaningfully? Meaning that, do you think because it's been in North America before, the United States, what did it change? I don't know. And is it here today, gone tomorrow, and everybody forgets about it until the next time? Or is there a lasting impression? Because you know what the top sports are, especially in the United States. It's football, basketball.
Yeah, in that sense, it's not going to move the needle much in the U.S., okay? But in terms of did it grow the sport, I think so, because being a soccer purist, we were like, okay, you know what? The World Cup used to be 16, then it was 24, then it was 32, and for us, 32 is too much. But they went to 48, and we were all like, this is not football anymore, this is garbage. But I'm telling you, you have to admit when you're wrong, and this 48 was amazing, because without this 48, we don't see Curacao, we don't see Haiti, we don't see these teams. So in that sense, has it grown the game? Absolutely. And I would have, if you told me 2 years ago it's going to be 64, I'd be like, forget it, I'm not tuning in. But 64, we want to, this
What
is
about
a
your
great
kids?
thing.
What about your kids? Were they just
Amazing. This was, this is,
especially being in Spain.
Watching it in Spain
pretty cool.
is a whole different reality.
That'd be really, really, really
so
cool.
in that sense, yes, the game has it grown the game? Absolutely. Will it grow the game specifically in the U.S. and Canada? I don't think so. NFL will always rule, and then the NBA, right?
We've kind of touched on this. What needs to happen next for youth development and sustainability for soccer in Canada?
Nothing changes. If you don't build infrastructure, it's a pipe dream. You can tell me about all the new development pathways and new coaching licenses and this and this and this. It's all pop a copy. I don't know how to say the word. Listen, if you don't build fields, If you don't build fields in every community in this country, you're talking rubbish, right? Take the money, less licenses, less coaching courses, build microfields in every community in this country, and kids will just play.
That ties in with your Oryx Community Sports Club.
100%.
Like you know, the grassroots importance in like building the next generation and
That's it.
trying to do that. You know, that's what you're trying to do.
That's it. That's
Right?
it. We'll do what we can, you know, in our neck of the woods, but at the end of the day, build it and they will come. Right?
Okay, I'm going to close off with a couple of more questions.
Yes.
Best moment of the World Cup.
Best moment of the World Cup. Wow, that's a hard one because there were so many moments in the World Cup. I would
put
say,
you in a spot.
yeah, best moment of the World Cup. My goodness, there were so many. For me personally, Congo scoring against Portugal. That was, you know,
Personal tie.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
I was going absolutely insane. I was absolutely going insane. I was, you know, my family probably thought I lost my mind. I was gonna.
Cool.
Best moment. Again. Never forget.
Biggest disappointment.
Germany. My goodness, what did they come to do? They came here as tourists. What the hell? That country with that level of players, coaching, resources, and they looked useless. Absolutely.
Would they just come for the buffet?
I have no idea. I think they got caught up in, you can go to 7-Eleven and buy Slurpees and super size. These German fans were going crazy over this stuff. I don't even the fans were more interested in the Slurpees and super size and hot dogs at 7-Eleven than the football.
I noticed though a lot of the players, like they were on social media, they were taking pictures of the food and shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys came.
Look at this! You can get a 3-foot-long hot dog.
Yes, especially the fans. The fans were more enamored with all the, you know, the things that, you know, America is. Look at the hot dogs, foot long. What? You know. So the biggest disappointment in the German team. That was a massive disappointment. What the hell did they come to do?
Okay, at the end of the day, final thought. Was it worth it for Vancouver? Was it worth it for Canada?
From a footballing perspective, 1,000%. This was an amazing tournament. It brought the community together. The amount of people, that line from Science World to the stadium. I mean, this is you never forget that stuff. On the politics side and on the legacy side and on the common sense side, disaster. Right? We didn't build anything. We didn't leave any legacies behind, and it doesn't grow the game here. Right? We're going to wake up next year and we don't have enough fields for, like, the things that people don't talk about. You know how many women play soccer in Vancouver? Tons, and they're the most underserviced group for fields. They don't. You know how many moms play soccer in this city? They can't. Lots? Yeah, but they don't have any practice times. You know, if you're an adult, your practice time starts at 8, 9 o'clock. I mean, you're a mom with children. You're going to go practice at 9 o'clock. There's, so the legacy should have been a whole bunch of fields so that the people who play soccer in this community, who support the football in this community, have the space to play, have the, if you're in a team full of moms, like, your training time should be 6 o'clock, not 9 o'clock at night or 10. Some of these adult times are 10 p.m., 10 to 11 p.m.
That's insane.
So for me, on that side of it, come on, build a legacy in the city, build a ton of microfields, get the kids off the big fields, put them on the little fields, put the adults on the big fields, and build more fields. If they would have done that, even if it cost $2 billion, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, right? Okay. I'm all for it.
Okay, shout out, Ray. What's your Instagram?
Instagram at Oryx Soccer Academy.
Okay, and your sports club. What's the website? Oryx.
Oryx. If you punch up Oryx, you'll find it. Oryx Soccer. You'll always find us.
And you got youth programs on there. How to get involved?
Absolutely.
Excellent as always, Ray. It's been a real pleasure. And I do want, in the future, I want you to come on and explain how the soccer world works in getting without. I don't think that would be a dry conversation because I don't give a shit if other people don't. This is my podcast.
I get the feeling you don't give a shit if other people have something to say.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just I just like if I want to talk to somebody, I want to talk to somebody, and I appreciate that not everyone's going to be interested in what I'm talking about, but somebody is.
You picked the right person because I'm definitely an enemy of the state. I'm the rebel leader.
So
I'm not in that world.
I guess you're not running for mayor for Vancouver.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime
soon.
Okay, man.
I've got my butt whooped.
Brother,
I'm good.
Thank you so much for coming up, man. I appreciate
Thank you, man.
Okay,
much
buddy.
appreciated.
Okay.
You may be asking yourself, what's any of this got to do with me? Absolutely nothing. Until next time.